Thank you all for joining us today. It looks like we'll have a bunch more people signing in after they figure out the Zoom link in a few minutes. But want to welcome you all to the the council COVID-19 discussion. This is hopefully a follow-up to our first discussion we had back in, I believe, late April or early May of this year, where we had an opportunity to answer some of your questions about how the council is responding to COVID, about the current program, and what things look like for the year ahead. We wanted to do a follow-up of that, giving you a little bit more details about what we've done in the intervening time. Also a chance to answer more of your questions as we get started. So Mark, to get started, could we get an American flag on the screen, and please stand and salute as appropriate based on your uniform, and please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, everyone. Just 1 second there.
Coming, Zach, my apologies. I wasn't queued up for that, but it's just seconds away, folks. Here it is, Zach.
Excellent. All right, everyone, please stand and salute as appropriate. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Well, as I said, thank you all for joining us today. Just to give you a quick rundown as we get started, we're going to start by giving some remarks from our council president, Dave Nichols. After that, our council commissioner, Marty Roberts, will be joining him to provide some words about the state of the council and how scouting is performing during a worldwide pandemic. After that, we'll have quick reports from each of our council committee chairs as to how we are supporting COVID-19 scouting during these times. So we'll hear from our program chairman, Eric Francis, our membership chair, Harry Long, and last, our finance chair, Laura Gutzweiler. After that, which should take around half of the time, we're going to leave we'll have 2 minutes then of Scout executive comments from Mark Francis, and then we'll have the rest of the time for Q&A moderated by myself. During that time, we'd ask if you have any questions to please enter them in the chat. You can either enter them in the group chat or you can send them specifically to me, and we'll make sure that you have a chance to ask any questions you have there. And I think then we should get started. We're going to try and end at 8 p.m., but we can, of course, stay late if anyone is willing to answer any additional questions after this meeting. So starting with then Dave, could you take us away?
All right, thank you, Zach. And first of all, thank everyone that's on this call for the time you're taking. This is just another hour a week that we're all spending. But and I want to thank you for all your efforts. Tonight's call is definitely about COVID, and that's what we want to focus on. But before we do that, I need to give you a quick update on the National BSA's bankruptcy proceedings. Mark, myself, and Marty, the key three, are very involved. We're participating in the late at night for us calls or early morning calls with the National BSA where they're giving us their updates. We're also participating in the local council committees, which is an ad hoc committee group that is formed to represent the interests of the councils. So our focus is making sure that we are protecting the interests of the Far East Council and the youth in it. It's a really complex situation with lots of moving parts that, frankly, we don't have any control of right now. So what I would like to ask is to please be assured that we are looking after the best interests of the council. And tonight, let's focus on what we can control. And that's how we react to COVID. And we've done an incredible job at the council level. Early this spring, I frankly thought all all 100% of our program would be canceled during the summer. Turns out that we were able to deliver a really successful and innovative NYLT program that trained more youth than we would have if there hadn't been COVID. So congratulations, and that has been great. We have also been able to, so far, we are welcoming 2 female Eagle Scouts into the Far East Council. They'll be part of the inaugural class of female Eagle Scouts. And I would say we have 2 so far. We may have more, and I hope we have more. We have seen a lot of engagement at the council board level and at the committee level. We've got a very active training committee and membership committee, and you'll hear and finance committee. This is new. We haven't had that in the last few years, so we're very happy about that. And then the level of engagement we're getting on meetings like this and just delivering program. Both Earl and Dale in Asia Central and Asia East have been very innovative in delivering program, which we can all be very proud of and have our youth take advantage of. So once again, I would say let's focus on what we can control, which is serving the youth of our council, and we are doing a great job at it.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Dave.
good evening, everyone. This is Marty, the Council Commissioner. Good evening, everyone. I would like to start by saying this year has been amazing to watch. I do not recall ever seeing our council board being so active. We have multiple committee meetings all the time, and it seems like there is so much going on, it's hard to keep up with it all. And believe it or not, that trickles down to the districts as well, where again, so many exciting things are happening, and it's all getting better. A couple topics to mention from the commissioner side. First, commissioners. Since I'm talking to the entire council tonight, I can't help but mention we need commissioners all around the council. All our districts are stretched too thin. So if you come across an adult Eagle Scout or just an adult who wants to help, but maybe he can't commit to the meetings every week, or the times you meet don't work for him or her, unit commissioner might be the position where they can make a difference. You do not need to be an expert scouter to be a commissioner. For the most part, the commissioner is the unit's connection to the district and council. They are not expected to have all the answers. They bring the questions to the district and they bring the answers back to the units. Second, I'd like to mention new units. The council is enthusiastically calling for the creation of new units wherever we have the capacity to do so. Even if your city already has a troop, pack, or crew, a second like unit should be a welcome addition and will spark new growth. We have new units starting up all over the council. And third, recharter. It is that time of year again. The information you will need to begin will be ready tomorrow. But do not hesitate to get started right away. Start scrubbing your list. All adults need to do that YPT. Start communicating with your chartered orgs to get those signatures and start collecting fees. And make sure you're done by 20 November so you can enjoy that 10% discount at your next order at the Scout Shop. So thank you all for being there. I know this is going to be a great meeting. Back to you, Zach.
Thank you very much, Marty and Dave. After this, we'd like to go through some of our council committee chairs and have them talk about our current response to COVID-19 in the Far East Council. To start, I'd like to have Eric Francis talk for a little bit about the innovative program ideas that we've implemented.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate that, and I'll
make sure I keep my comments to our schedule. First thing I'd like to mention, going back to our council president's comment about what we can control. At the beginning of, since we're talking about COVID-19 and what we control in this situation, there's been a shift we can see from a few months ago when the pandemic was really working its way through our council. We saw a number of cancellations. So it wasn't, how do we work within this in terms of delivering the program? And I am speaking as the vice president of the program for the council. I was like, can we do this or not? What's changed, and what really began with Sean Welch when we actually looked at NWLT, the discussion was, we need to cancel, and Sean, as many of our council know, said, well, we actually could do this a different way. So it became a distributed NYLT model, which it wasn't completely online. We had different units in different locations working together and then coming back online for large group sessions. So that began what I see as the transition from can we do this or not is now become a question of how do we do this? And in talking, as VP of program, I also talk with the different chairs. I was talking with Dan O'Neill, and it's interesting that the OA, to me, the OA would have been one of the last BSA organizations, or excuse me, Scouts BSA organizations to shift to an online model. And that's exactly what they've done. And for those of you that are members of the OA, you know a lot of those OA ceremonies are held around campfires outside on purpose. And for the first time this year, their induction ceremonies and more are being done virtually. And so again, a lot of firsts this year. So in going back to that question of what do we control not do we do it or, do we do this event or not? What we control now is how we're going to do this. We know that, not to speak pessimistically, but in the future, there might be another pandemic. There might be a series of typhoons. This is a time for us to create a new way, a new normal for ensuring that we can still deliver the program to our youth. And this gives us just additional tools and options to make that happen. So I'm sure Baden-Powell would take a very optimistic look at what's happening and see this as an opportunity, not a step back. When the days come when we have vaccines and there's safety, we can come back around our campfires, wonderful. However, given the changes, both natural and man-made that are coming, we can also see this as a chance to, again, ask that key question is not do we do this or not, it's how do we do this using the tools that are before us. So that's the main change I've seen. I know there were some notes about, I think it was Camp Dragon and other events. If others like to comment on those, I'm not personally acquainted with those, but I did want to make a mention of our distributed NYLT model and also the changes we've seen and are happening now with OA. And just two more, Marty put in a plug for commissioners. I'll put in a plug for our virtual course director conferences, both Wood Badge and NYLT, which will be happening in early 2021. And later, those are in the works. But again, what's interesting with those is that's also becoming not just what used to be a Far East Council or transatlantic type of arrangement. That's now becoming a national arrangement. And in some correspondence I had even this morning, they've gone completely to virtual delivery of course director conferences. So this is something that I think we're lucky to have been leading, leading the way, but using already in past years, and now that's becoming the new normal for national. So those are the main things I wanted to say. Happy to take comments or additional examples or stories if others have them. But again, just going back to what do we control? We control the question of how do we make this happen, not do we do this or not. So I will yield the floor back to whoever would like to speak next or make comments about what I've just shared. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. And I was wondering, maybe Earl, could you talk a little bit about what's going on with the Dragon Box camp? And I know to a little bit extent you're acquainted with the Dragon Adventure Patrol camp that's going on in Asia East.
Yes, Zach. So very briefly, Dragon Box was conceived from the idea of what some councils have already hosted in the past. In particular, some of the Dragon Box or the similar virtual camps that have been happening by national and Florida Council and Danbury Council and CIEC. And so we decided to put something together very quickly towards the end of the summer, because our Cub Scouts weren't very active in doing any activities. Most of the packs here on Okinawa in particular were dormant, and I thought that doing something like a virtual Dragon in a Box camp or whatever would be good to get them active again. And so we were very successful at doing that. We put together over 21 activities for the Scouts, 18 in particular that they worked on, and we had over 70 Scouts register for that, and 8 of them came from the states, Florida, Texas, California, and a few other places jumped on to our Dragon Box day camp or virtual camp. And they had a blast. They're still posting, completion of their activities in our Facebook group, and the families had a great time. The patrol camp that's being ran by Asia East. I don't know if Dale's on the call, but Dale's taking that on as a spinoff from what we did for Dragon Box Day Camp, or for virtual camp. Sorry. He basically put together a patrol method style virtual camp in a box that patrols can go out and execute the activities that are included in that box, and work the patrol method. It's a phenomenal thing that he did, and we're definitely going to look at fine-tuning that. And I don't know his numbers off the top of my head, but I know he's going to have some great results with that in Asia East in particular.
Thanks very much, Earl. So after program, thank you both, Eric and Earl, for that presentation. I think we'd like to have Harry Long, who's our council membership chair, speak for a few minutes about what we're doing to help keep the membership growth on a positive trajectory here in Far East Council.
Thank you. I think everyone recognizes the challenges that we've had over the past few months with the onset of the pandemic, which has certainly affected all the membership of the Far East Council, whatever country you're in. There is good news, and I think as Scouters, we tend to think with our glass half full rather than half empty. And you've heard some wonderful success stories, and I've got others to share with you in the 5 minutes I've been allotted, which is going to be a real challenge for Harry. But the fact of the matter is that Area 6, our area of the Western region, actually finished on top of the pile nationally when it came to recruitment in August. And within Area 6, we finished 4th out of 9 councils. So while the challenges are there, while the challenges are real, we are working hard and we are having some success. And that success is being recognized by the national BSA organization. So my hat's off to the wonderful leaders that work throughout the Far East Council. And I see evidence of that with every meeting I attend. So I couldn't be more proud to be a member of the Boy Scouts of America when I see the success that we've had in very challenging conditions and work with the leaders of the quality that we work with on the various committees of which I'm a part. Now, some of the thunder, and it's always harder when you're not first. And so I was going to speak to the wonderful work of the districts in some of the program ideas that they have mentioned, including the Cub venture with Earl and his team, and the Patrol venture with Dale and his team. I'd also like to mention that we have another program that I'm very proud of, and that was first mooted by Paul Atkins, the Asia South chair, and that's the online merit badge program. And that has been going for some time, and I know that Paul's on this call, and if he wishes to comment, he can. But that's a wonderful initiative and has presented an environment where Scouts can obtain merit badges that would, without that platform, have been unable to have been completed. So well done to Paul and his team for that as well. Some exciting things that are kind of in the pot being stirred. Dan, our assistant commissioner for our council, and John Traylor are really working hard at developing a Nisa alumni initiative. And I couldn't be more proud of the work that they're doing. In fact, the Facebook fan page for Nisa is live now. And the Alumni Facebook page is live in Okinawa. So we're building on basically a platform that hasn't been tested for a while. Both Nisa and the Alumni Association can act as pools for leader recruitment moving forward. And I think most NSOs realize that fellowship, which is really what Nisa and Alumni is a wonderful pool of leader resource moving forward. So that's an initiative that you'll be hearing more about over the next weeks and months. We're also really working hard, and again, my hat's off to Dan, for providing assistance with online rechartering process. We're also looking actively, we're not shirking the responsibility, we're not trying to hide from the responsibility of assisting leaders with the challenges faced with online registration as well. So those are things that we're working hard toward. Dan's had some real success in the recharting process, in coming up with some support materials that will assist leaders with that. And I thank him for that. We've also recently appointed an FEC Youth Diversity Initiative champion. Her name's Melissa Mora, and she's charged with growing scouting, particularly with our girls that are involved with Scouts. So we look forward to seeing how that plays itself out, but she's a really talented person with endless enthusiasm. I'd like to thank Earl for his Dragon Box virtual camp. I'd like to thank Dale for his Camp Dragon virtual patrol camp initiative. I have spoken to you with regard to where we placed with Area 6 in terms of recruitment for August, and let's just keep doing what we're doing because it's working. Also, don't forget that the council has generously supported the FEC membership committee plan for 2020 with an incentive package. It's on the website. I don't need to go into that now, except to say that those incentives are there, and we ask that you make sure that they're known by all the unit leaders so that they can take advantage of that in terms of their recruitment of new members. Now, there are some other things that are going on as well. One of the members of the membership committee mentioned the importance of venturing in terms of securing future BSA leaders. We know that preponderance of former Scouts become Scout leaders themselves, and there's no better example of a pool of leader resource than venturing. So we're looking at ways that we can grow that venturing model, and I know that we've recently had a VOA advisor and council venturing chair appointed, and we congratulate them for their willingness to take that on board. So we're thinking that that might be another way that we can grow scouting. I think that's probably it. Oh, there is one other thing, a wonderful resource. And when the committee first formed this year to look toward the potential challenges we had, we realized that there might need to be a toolbox that we would develop that would assist us with recruiting members and retaining the members we already had. We looked at various models. We landed on one which we share with the Area 6. That model is easily opened by members of our council. And if you need the links for that, just let me know. Many of our leaders have already forwarded ideas for that toolbox. And so I think that that's a wonderful resource that all the leaders throughout Area 6, including the Far East Council, can use in terms of growing membership within their units and their districts. It's been a busy month for membership, as it has been with all of the various committees. And I'd like to commend every single member of the membership committee for the incredible capacity for work and enthusiasm they have for what we're doing, which is growing scouting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harry. I think that was just around 5 minutes, so perfect timing.
Yes.
We now like to have one of those new energetic leaders in our council, Laura Gutzweiler, who is the chair of finance, sorry, the VP of finance on our council, give us a quick report of what we've been doing there. So Laura, take it away.
Thanks so much. Is it okay if I share my screen here?
Certainly.
Okay. What are you seeing? Are you seeing my desktop? Are you seeing the...
Not quite yet.
Okay, hold on. Let's try this.
Mark, can we make Laura a host to make sure she can share?
Can you see that now?
Unfortunately, we can't just yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Laura is the host, so she should.
Are you okay? Can you
There it is.
see it now?
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much. Okay, so I just have a few quick updates for you. I wasn't sure if everyone really understood or knew what the goals are for the council in terms of Friends of Scouting. So I just wanted to give a quick overview before I go into the details of where we're at now. Each district has a different goal amount, and the total goal for the council is $85,000. It was set before COVID happened. And obviously we are lacking the revenue that we would normally have received through camps and so on. And so it's my intent and goal to far exceed this originally set $85,000 goal. So that's by district what the figures were set at prior to all the COVID. Here's where we're at as of September 25th. So you look at what we gave. The gray are 2019 figures, and all in the blue are 2020 figures. So you can see where your council is at. Asia East, how many Asia East people do we have on the call tonight? Asia East has a huge population of scouts in a affluent area. And so I'm hoping that this figure will be transformed over the coming 2 weeks. But just to give you the overview of where we're at now. And on a positive note, I wanted to share this quote. Baden-Powell always had these awesome, inspiring, just short, powerful quotes. Happiness does not come to those who sit and wait. Success doesn't. None of these things will happen if we just sit idly by. This is the Friends of Scouting campaign is not a one-man show. And I was really thrilled to see Mark's announcement on September 24th or 25th that in 1 week we had raised over $17,000. So from the time that we had met as a council board to when I received his email, you guys just ignited fires. I mean, you just raised $17,000 so quickly, and I'm so grateful to all of you that were a part of that success. And so I just wanted to show you that in such a short amount of time, we can do such great things. In fact, I think in the meeting itself at the end, when we were just all visiting and laughing together, Mark, did we raise like $4,000 or $5,000 in about a half hour? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
Within, thanks. Within this Friends of Scouting campaign, we have an initiative called Investment in Character and Leadership. And for those of you who have heard about this already, my apologies, but I think some on the call might not have. And I just want to highlight one of the swag awards that we want to give away. So for those truly gung-ho people who reach out to friends and family and colleagues, and raise over $1,500, they're going to be presented this Founding Fathers Friends of Scouting Gung Ho Award. And you can see an image there. The Espiritu family, who's in Asia Central District, they found out about it, and the daughter immediately sent emails to friends and family of the dad, and they, I think within a day or two, had over $600 in donations, and they're just about at their goal from what I understand. And so we had just prepped this as a sample because we knew they were going to make the $1,500 gung-ho award. Michael Lee, last board meeting, he came onto the board and did it immediately. And so he will be receiving that award. And I'm sorry if any of the rest of you on this call right now have also reached that level and I don't know it yet, but you will also be recognized with that award. And for smaller levels, like, are you seeing the pictures on the side? My screen is kind of, I've got your pictures up and it's blocking some of the,
Yes, we can see
the
all.
Yep, we can see them.
Okay, so you can see the small single patch. There's for levels lower than the $1,500, Scouts and Scouters will also be recognized with swag. So don't despair if you feel like you can't raise $1,500, although I'm sure that all of you can. I have 100% confidence in you that you can do it. And I'm happy to hang out after this call and talk and meet with any of you who want some ideas. And speaking of that, in the investment in character and leadership, we have many resources that we've set forth as a council, and there have been countless hours invested by Nettie Francis and Brett Gilbert and myself to make it easy for everyone. So Scouts have templates that they can use. They can write their own emails or letters, but if they don't want to, they can use these templates and just put in whatever personal information they'd like to include. So there's template letters for youth to adult, adult to adult, adult to philanthropic organizations or businesses. There's different motivational things like 10 scouting essentials. There's video links that they can include in, or that you can all include in your emails or letters that are just inspiring, because we know we're involved in scouting, but we know that scouting benefits everyone in society, not just us. And so people want to give, and you just need to invite them. They see what you're doing and they're so inspired by your work. And if you invite them to also give, many people are going to be so thrilled to make a contribution. They might not be able to do it in time, but they can definitely open their wallet and do it. And there is the link for the, you should have gotten at least one email with the resource folder, but there's the link just in case that you don't have it handy. Brett gave the shortcut. I don't know how he created that, but both go to the same folder. So I just wanted to ask you, how are you going to share your time and talents and really boost this campaign so we can reach our goal within the next couple of weeks? I know that we can do this, and I just want you to ponder, what will your legacy be? You do so much in person with the youth, as we've heard about tonight, all the successes in programming, but we can't make any of this happen if we don't have the necessary funding. And so this is critical. And while we do have maybe more time on our hands than we might otherwise have because of COVID, and maybe because of a softer calendar in our respective units, we could definitely step up our efforts in this investment in character and leadership. And as we reach out for people to give, it's also promoting Scout membership, because a lot of people have said, and I've heard so many times, wow, I didn't even know we had scouting here. And so there's definitely a trickle down effect in terms of membership and just wonderful publicity, all the great things that are happening within scouting. And so I just want to encourage you to deep and maybe reach out of your comfort zone to ask and invite people to give. And maybe after people share some of the successes they have, I know Paul Atkins has huge successes with large donors. So maybe after further, we can talk about this further, but it's a very important initiative. And do you want to add anything on to what we're asked so far? You hear me? Mark?
Yes, I'm sorry, Laura. Did you say my name? I thought you said somebody else.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I just wanted to ask, did you have anything you wanted highlighted or?
No, that's wonderful. I will make a couple of remarks here in just a moment.
Thank you very much, Laura, for the update on the Friends of Scouting campaign. And I do hope everyone checks out those links that she's sent out multiple times and can contribute in whatever way they can to this very important fundraising drive. Now we'd like to share some
Thanks.
remarks from our Scout executive, Mark Francis, to kind of summarize some of the areas we discussed now, and then we'll shift over to a Q&A session.
Okay, thank you, Zach. I just want to start off by thanking all of you that are on the phone tonight or who will watch this broadcast later. Because of your willingness to continue to support Scouting during this worldwide pandemic, some amazing things have happened. I've had the wonderful privilege in the last few months since I've been part of the council to be a first-hand witness to some of the significant things that you're doing. A couple of things that come to my mind immediately. I had the opportunity to join a Cub Scout pack and a Boy Scout troop virtual meeting with the Philippines and the U.S. ambassador to the Philippines. And it was absolutely amazing. There were, I think, 63 of us on the call that night. Most of them were youth. And they had the opportunity to listen to a U.S. ambassador talk about character and citizenship and the significant contribution that Scouting is making to our world. Very, very impressed by that. Another night I had the chance to be part of a presentation to one of our great Scouters, Lisa Krause, in Singapore, where she was presented with a special award called the Albert K. Fretwell Outstanding Educator Award. She's just done a tremendous job with outreach to the school and helping to support Scouting in Singapore, even during these tough times. Those are just two examples that illustrate the significance of your efforts. And I'd like to thank all those who have presented so far. We have a lot of wonderful things going on with program and with membership, and some of you are probably scratching your head thinking, well, why did Laura talk about finance? Well, in order for us to continue to provide this incredible program, even during a worldwide pandemic, we need the financial resources. So we asked her to share with you some ways that you can give back to the council during this time. So thank you, Laura, and thank you for all those who presented. I just want to give a quick shout out, and I know I'm going to miss some countries, so if I miss your country, please put it in the chat. But my records show that tonight we have wonderful volunteers from Singapore, Korea, Japan, and several from Okinawa, Indonesia, Hong Kong, Australia, India, and from a few states in the United States of America. So if I missed your country, please put it in the chat. The final thing I want to comment on is there's a national movement right now called the Churchill Project. And what this is all about is to try to streamline some of the national processes so that we can provide more quality Scouting to those whom we serve. And the result of this will be some significant changes as we move forward. There's three main areas that they focused on. One is keeping youth safe at the forefront of all that we do, engaging and empowering volunteers, and streamlining to enable council success. So in these three different areas, there's a total of 26 recommendations that this committee has presented to the National Council of things that they recommend happen sooner than later so that we can be relevant as we move forward into the future. A couple of those things, and I'll just go through this quickly, to reinvigorate the onboarding process for new families, to streamline all safe Scouting resources, to instill a culture of timely reporting, sharing, enforcement, and transparency of safety incidents. Develop a youth corps for young adults ages 18 to 35. To give greater reliance on volunteers to offset the fact that the national organization has reduced their staff significantly in just the last few months. They want to streamline the unit recharter process. 3 cheers for that one. I hope that comes sooner than later. Talking about replacing areas and regions. A focus on the national BSA's effort on providing councils with support pertaining to areas that are best scalable or not efficiently done on a local level, such as, but not inclusive, of program standards, legal, insurance, IT, brand, PR management, HR, and asset management. So they're looking at the entire organization, trying to figure out what can we do to simplify things and make us more relevant so that we can move forward into this next season. Of course, the bankruptcy still kind of lingers over all of our shoulders. Our council president, Dave, talked about that earlier. And I just want to reiterate that he and I and Marty, our council commissioner, as well as our council treasurer, Doug Hymas, are very engaged in that entire process and ensuring that the interests of the Far East councils are kept at the forefront. So Zach, with that, I just need to mention that at least somebody is here from Thailand. So thank you, Thailand, for joining us as well. So back to you, Zach.
Thank you very much, Mark. And thank you all for participating in this meeting once more. For the rest of the time, we have around 15 minutes that we'd like to devote to some Q&A, although we're happy to stay over if anyone has any additional questions. We've received some questions during the meeting in the chat, and we encourage anyone, if they have additional questions, just to either send them to the group chat for everyone, or feel free to send messages directly to myself, and we'll make sure that they get answered. So we're going to start with some of the questions we received over chat, and then we'll move up to any open discussion after that. So the first question that we received was from a scouter named Dave. And Dave, would you like to kind of repeat your question for the whole group here?
Hi guys. Yeah, so I heard about this kind of patrol, camp out in the box and all of that, and I think it sounds like a great idea. I don't really understand the what's going on. So if I could get some more information about what that is and how do we do it, because I'm in Asia South, I'm in Singapore, and I'm looking for options. So you know, I'd like to know what that is and how we're doing it.
Thanks for the question, Dave. Actually, Earl, do you think that you talk about this? I know you're not the main person running that one, but you've had a lot of time talking with Dale about this one.
Yeah, so Dave, essentially all it is choosing to do it first. And the other thing is from where you're located, we have to reach out to Mr. Dale to see if they can actually ship to you. If not, he does have the resources available, so you can actually gather the material you want that you need, and you can use the program pieces that he has for you or your scouts to follow. So all it is just that you're getting the product in the box, or you in the material, and you perform the activities that are there. So about 20 activities he said that there were. So hopefully that answers, but just reach out to Dale and he can answer those questions for you.
Yeah, Earl, we have an answer on whether or not it can be done outside of Okinawa. Dale was not able to ship the boxes or provide that to anyone outside of Japan. So Dave, unfortunately in Singapore, the units will not be able to participate in that particular event. However, consistent with what Eric was calling attention to earlier, and what Earl has done by way of his Dragon Box initiative, these should be repackageable. So we should work with Dale after they run that event and deploy it in Singapore for the units here. And then maybe, since it's easier to ship, this is something we might be able to do as an initiative in Asia South. And from Singapore, we could support Malaysia, Cambodia, and Indonesia. That's what I would propose. So
could be something great to get, like, even if it is just an instruction sheet to say, like, this is what's in the box, these are the activities, blah, 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 blah. And then if we have to go get that our stuff here, Paul, you know, we can share it between us here, and something we might be able to, you know, amplify.
Yeah, Dave, he has that. Yeah, available.
Absolutely.
So all we need to do is just reach out to him. He basically told us on the last call that if you reach out, he already sent out the package to us, and all he needs to do is get it to you. And if you want to jump in on it, you can definitely jump in. You just need to get the items for yourself. Earl,
he's not going to be able to send us the T-shirts or anything, because I actually did a registration for a unit for a patrol here in Singapore, and they refunded the money to me. So for his particular event, we're not going to be able to piggyback. But what I would recommend to Dave McCall and the other unit leaders here in Singapore is to co-op it by taking his templates, his T-shirts. We can print them locally and basically repurpose it and do it with some like-minded units closer to Singapore.
Yeah, essentially, yes. Yeah, definitely do that. Just reach out to him and talk to him about that.
And so again, circling back to what Eric said earlier, a lot of these, the Dragon Box, the Patrol Box, should in fact be repurposable, and not only just for this COVID initiative. What I'm seeing is that, I hate the expression new normal, but a lot of these things can be repurposed on an ongoing basis. So for example, a week ago, I had an in-person citizenship in the Nation merit badge work session for Scouts in Singapore. But I set up a Zoom link to a troop in Kuala Lumpur. So we had 5 Malaysian Scouts effectively participating as active members of that workstation. So 4 Scouts in a living room in Singapore live, and then via the Zoom link, using the lessons learned from these online virtual merit badge sessions, we were able to have 5 very active, very involved, very engaged, very well prepared Scouts from a boys troop in Malaysia. So this is something that I envision, if we have these resources in our own toolkit here in Asia, that going out 6-12 months, there are some people who are happy to piggyback from one unit to another, and even one country to another, where they might not have a merit badge. And I think increasingly, merit badge availability in terms of counselors has always been a challenge for some units. The Lone Scouts in Australia and in India, I had a conversation with Chris Lawashe in India last week about how we'd be happy to open up Zoom links, and his scouts, his Lone Scouts in India, have done this with councils in the U.S. We can do that for Chris out of Singapore. So it's really just a matter of making sure that people are aware of what we've done, and that through communication forums like this one, we promote these on an ongoing basis, not just as a solution to leave behind as we move forward.
Thank you very much, Paul, Dave, and Earl on that one. I think it's a great discussion here. Moving on to the next question that we received over chat. It was a question that we received about the overseas scouting fee, and I just want to give a little bit of context for everyone. The overseas scouting fee is a fee that's unique to the Far East Council, which represents the fact that around half of our units are affiliated with the DoD. So the DoD provides direct funding to support these units and support the delivery of programs to these units. Now, the overseas scouting fee is a fee that's for scouts that are not associated with the DoD, to make sure that the level of support that they're providing for the council is equivalent to the support that the DoD is providing. The reason that is sort of in here is to take sheet funding the DoD scouts, and that the other scouts are supporting to adjust this in light of the COVID situation. So I want to turn that over to maybe Dave Nichols, our council president, or maybe Mark Francis, if you kind of want to comment on that quickly.
Dave, are you still with us?
I think we might have lost him for
Okay,
a little bit.
that's fine. Let me.
He's on the call, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Zach, thank you for adding some perspective to that question. This question actually has come up a couple of times in different settings. So we're well aware of the concern amongst our packs and troops and crews throughout the council. So as a key 3, we've discussed that we're going to put together an ad hoc committee or a working group to evaluate that. That's a very complex situation because of the impact that it has on the overall council budget. But we're certainly mindful of the fact that some of our scouting units in some of our communities are really, really struggling. And anything we can do to support and strengthen them during this COVID environment could potentially mean whether or not they'll be able to continue scouting. So just know that we're mindful of this, and in the coming weeks and months, we will be sharing more information in terms of what we feel like we can do as a council to help work through the financial impact that COVID is having on us. Back to you, Zach.
Great news.
Thank you very much, Mark. The next thing we wanted to discuss is actually not so much a Q&A, but a quick program plug that I was hoping Earl could quickly make about an upcoming training and actual virtual event that we're planning in December, the Virtual University of Scouting. Earl, could you give us a quick minute or two on that one? You neglected to mention it during the program part.
Oh, I wasn't prepared for that one. Okay, so you got me. I'm flexible. Laura, you taught me about that. I hear you, mama. All right, so we basically discussed this at the training committee meeting here last week. We were trying to figure out how we can actually get to our local new leaders, especially since we did a lot of recruiting. Here, particular in Central, we have a lot of new families. So we're looking at putting together a University of Scouting, a distributed model across the entire council, and then with the support of all of the training chairs of each district. And from there, whoever else is willing to help. So on the 12th of December, we're basically going to host a University of Scouting. I just got confirmation today for the Kinzer Chapel to support us on that. And they're going to have up to 12 rooms for us here on Okinawa that we can do classes in. And then from there, we stream our classes on Zoom or through Facebook Live or so on and so forth. But that's what we're looking to do is University of Scouting opportunity within the 4 different programs of scouting, Cub Scouting, Scouts BSA, youth training, and in adult training. And that's what we'll be focusing on.
Thanks for the update there, Earl. So everyone, December 12th, the University of Scouting. Sorry about catching you off guard, but appreciate the quick announcement there. For the last 5 minutes here or so of this discussion, we'd like to open up the floor to any kind of open questions that anyone would like to ask. And again, we're happy to stay a little bit later if there's any questions that go over past the hour. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to kind of go off mute, and we're happy to lead the discussion in any way that you'd want, how we can best support your units, any questions you guys have still lingering here.
I know there's got to be some questions out there. There has to be. There has to be.
Hi, this is Chris Laubacher in India. I have a question. I don't think I'm getting all of the emails. So how do I make sure I get on the right email distribution lists?
That's a great question. I'm hoping that our communications chair, Justin, can help answer that one.
Yes. So first question is, are you getting the council newsletter that's coming out twice a month on the first and third Thursday of the month?
I am getting that, yes.
Okay, so you're getting that without any problems. That's our primary way of getting hold of people from the council level. Your district may be sending out other messages separately, but that's our kind of a primary kind of data dump from the council side is using that listing. So you should be getting all the messages. There's been some other messages besides newsletters sent out through that forum. A couple about FOS. We've had some things about some other one-off announcements, but mostly it's been the council newsletter on that. So otherwise, yeah, contact your DE if there's just to find out if there's any other newsletter or any other communication methods that are coming out of your specific district.
And I think your DE down in India, if I remember correctly, is Rob is the DE for the formerly Lone Scout troops. Is that correct, Mark? Or sorry, formerly Direct Service troops.
Yeah, Rob supports the South District and the West District, and Rob is located in Korea. And Frank supports our East District and our Central District, and he's located in Okinawa. And both Rob and Frank are doing a tremendous job. So if you ever have any questions about scouting, any concerns, if you need support, please reach out to those two individuals, and they'll work through their key threes and their district committees to provide the support that you need to be able to move forward.
Chris, did that answer your question? Or
Yeah, I think so. I'll go through my emails again and maybe check the spam folders to make sure I'm getting the communication. I guess the tricky part is I won't know if I'm missing something until maybe through another email somebody says, hey, why didn't you respond to the email I never got? I just was wondering if there's some way for me to know that I'm on the right lists before I start missing things.
as long as you're finding all the council newsletters and getting those in without going to spam, you should have no other problems, at least from council announcements, because again, that's our primary way of getting through.
Okay.
So.
Thanks.
Chris, if you can put your email, Chris, put your email in the chat and we'll make sure it gets to the correct DE.
Okay, sure. And then, I mean, my particular role is I'm the Scoutmaster of the Scouts BSA troop here. And I appear to have inherited the committee or the commissioner role from Michael Satin when he left.
Okay, just include that in the chat. We'll make sure we get you squared away.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chris, for your diligent effort in India. It's wonderful to know we have strong scouting there.
Well, thanks for giving me the benefit of the doubt.
And who else thinks that we use too many acronyms?
You're funny. There's never enough acronyms.
Oh, that's a military
Marine
person.
wife.
Chris,
That's
just in
right.
case, DE stands for District Executive.
I was wondering, I was going to try to figure that out, but I didn't know what that meant.
Chris, I can help with making the following statement. Your greatest support is your district executive. His name is Rob Davis. He lives in Korea, and his email is robert.davis@scouting.org. I'll put that in the chat right now, and then you can just reach out directly to him.
Thanks for the question, guys.
Okay,
so we're going to be continuing on for a little bit, but this is the sort of end of the hour. So I think, Mark, we want to maybe stop the recording at this point. We're going to be sending out the link to the video that we've taken to the rest of the council, so that folks that weren't able to attend this meeting will be able to see that in the future. I do want to take this time just to thank everyone for their participation here, especially the presenters and the local volunteers that actually deliver the scouting program, because without this, without you, this program wouldn't exist. So thank you all very much. And myself, Mark, and we'll stay on for a little bit more to answer any additional questions that you would like answered. So feel free to stay on as long as you want and ask us questions later than I know